Poker is awesome. It's great.
Poker is absurd.
You know, where else in any other sport that you love, you know, can you play in the biggest, you know, event in the world?
Joe Blow can turn $10 into $1 million.
Poker's a fun game that requires a certain amount of skill, a certain amount of bluff, and a whole lot of luck.
You don't have to be physically strong. You don't have to be extremely intelligent. It's an everyday game for an everyday man.
It's a roller coaster. It is.
Poker is great when you win and horrible when you lose.
Poker is good, bad, and very ugly.
Poker is something you should do for fun and not for living.
It's a living. It's you know, they say it's a tough way to make an easy living.
You know, and that's what I love it.
It's like sex. Everybody thinks they're the best, but only a few know what they're doing.
Welcome back to the remarkable Atlantis Resort and Casino, Bahamas, for another episode of the Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship. Last episode, Weber King Kang decimated the feature table on the way to being the chip leader. This week, 3 Canadians under the lights: Dean Booten from Regina, Adrian Thomas from Vancouver, and Matt Novak from Toronto vie to survive the pressure of the feature table and move on at the Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship.
Welcome to the Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship here at the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas. As any athlete will tell you, training is everything, and we asked our players how they prepare for the long haul of tournament play.
Well, for this tournament I've been icing my knee because I ripped it up on the water slide, so that's about it. I don't do any physical activity other than that.
The only experience I have, which I do not recommend, is staying up late and drinking vodka tonics, but that's what we chose to do, so we'll see how it pays off. But assuming I make it more than one day, I'm not going to repeat that pre-game scenario.
I do everyday sports, so I don't have to make any special preparation, and I go to bed early, so for me it's like any other day.
I don't actually have any rituals, so to speak, in preparing for a game. I just like to relax and just be by myself, just quietly contemplate.
Game day rituals, just to get up and have a good breakfast. I like to do some prayer and some quiet time, taking a lot of thought, and just get real focused for the tournament.
Before every tournament, every big tournament I play in, I read TJ's book, Championship No Limit Parliament Hold'em, and every time I read it, I have success in the tournament. And so I just read it right before I play. It just puts me in the right mindset, you know. It makes me think logically, and you know, I do well when I read it. You know, it's a good book.
Welcome back to the action at the Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship. Adrian Thomas, one of the 3 Canadians at the Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship feature table. We are approaching the halfway point of the tournament. Dean Booten in the red hat, another of our 3 Canadians. We are in level 5. The small blind is 200. The big blind is 400. The average stack close to 20,000 chips, and it is costing 900 chips per lap of the button. We're still playing with deep stacks, and we can really hope to see some interesting poker here at the feature table. Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship. The button is with Chuck Fury, American player, in the number 2 seat. Dean Booten of Regina, the small blind for 150. And the big blind, Jeff Petronic in the 4 seat for 300 chips. Chuck Fury in the blue shirt is the button. And in the cutoff seat, a King 8 offsuit for Larry Nicholas, the United States. Ace 8 suited for Chuck on the button with position on the King 8. Folds around to Larry.
900.
He's going to make a 900 chip steal attempt with his King 8 offsuit. And Chuck Fury with position is going to call on the button. Both blinds fold. Heads up to the flop. Chuck's in great spot. He's got position and a dominating hand over Larry on his right. The flop, 10 of diamonds, 5 of hearts, 7 of spades. Check, check. Both players miss. Both players check. 8 of hearts on the turn. That's going to be an interesting card because, of course, now Larry holds second pair. So does Chuck, but he's got the better kicker. Larry puts out a bet of 1,300, just about half the pot. And Chuck Fury behind him makes it 4,000 to go. Larry's been caught stealing. He's only got a king-8 offsuit. He's got a weak hand. He's facing a pretty big raise. I know you like the turn, Larry. It was your 8, but you can't feel real good about your hand. And he'll let it go. Correctly, good fold. And Chuck Fury will stack up a nice little pot. Chuck's a computer programmer, but he's certainly an experienced poker player. He plays regularly at the Borgata in Atlantic City. He's played at the World Series. He's played at the Borgata Open. He's played at the Party Poker Million. Experienced KG player. Chuck Fury in the number 2 seat. Stacking the first pot of level 5 at the Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship feature table. Nice button win for Chuck Fury. That makes Regina's Dean Booten in the 3 seat, the button. Jeff Petronic in the 4 seat, the small blind. And Peter Smith from the UK in the 4 seat, the big blind of 300. 50 chip ante. Seat 9 is empty, so there are 850 chips in the pot to start the action every hand. Dean Booten in seat 3 won his seat here in the Bahamas at Casino Regina. All of the other players at this feature table won their seats online at Party Poker. Folded all the way to the small blind. Jeff Petronic with an ace of spades, deuce of diamonds. He'll put in a raise. Good hand heads up. He is out of position on Peter Smith. He will put in another 900, making it just over 1,000 chips. 10-9 of spades. Suited connectors. Peter's going to take off the flop. He's got position and a good implied odds hand. I think that's a perfectly legitimate call. Big flop for Jeff, who's flopped 2 pair, top and bottom pair. Peter has missed completely, of course. Jeff will bet out 1,000. And Peter will, of course, fold. Bad luck for Jeff that Peter didn't have something. Almost as important as your own cards is often what your opponent has. In that case, Jeff's really hoping that Peter has an ace-queen, something he can get some action from. People often think, oh, I've been unlucky, I got bad cards all day. A big part of the luck is also what your opponent holds in order for you to make some money. Or have your bluffs succeed, or whatever the case may be. Luck matters in poker. Whatever the pros tell you about skill, it matters a great deal. But on any given day, luck will matter a great deal. Peter Smith, the button in seat 5. Matt Novak, our 3rd Canadian at the table, is the small blind in seat 6. And Chris Cornell, the big blind in seat 7. King of spades, 7 of diamonds for Chris Cornell in the big blind. Jacks under the gun for Adrian Thomas. Adrian will make it 1,000 to go. Pocket 10s for Chuck Fury. And he will call the 1,000 chips. Adrian's in good shape against those 10s. Folded around to Chris Cornell in the big blind with his king 7. And he's going to raise with his king 7. There's a bold play. King 7 is a horrible no-limit hand. This is just really a pure bluff.